Welcome back. I know it's been a while since I put out a video. I've been kind of busy, but I'm hoping to get back into this. Today, I'm working in the garage, and today is kind of a bittersweet day. I have started finishing up the shelving. That's the last one going up. And today, I'm going to be building a workbench. I'm gonna build a workbench for on the back wall. Not just any workbench, a woodworking bench. I don't work with wood much, but I'd like a dedicated space just for the woodwork. And what I'm going to use is, if you remember, or even go back and look in the workshop teardown, my dad had a workbench in the back corner, and we tore it out kind of cleanly. I cut it out, I pulled it off the wall, and I saved it. And I decided right off the bat, whenever I did that, I wanted to build a workbench out of it. I wanted something of his that he used to build stuff on. I am, like I said, I'm not an awesome woodworker or nothing, but I want my own woodworking bench. I don't want to have to use my big metal bench over there. We're going to use this bench top. It's rough, it's stained. I don't know what that is, but this is what I'm going to use. Used it for years. I saved it. I'm going to reuse it. All different plans. The first was I was going to make it this high and bolt it right to the wall, build a frame and everything for it, set it on, and bolt it right to the wall like I did with these shelves. So it was window height. And then I got to thinking, that's kind of tall. It's very high. I figured, let's drop it down. Dropped it down, and that got me thinking, why not make this thing mobile? So I bought some wheels to put on this, and I'll show those to you later. And I'm going to make it table saw height. I'm going to be able to use it as an outfeed table on that side. I can roll it in, and when I cut boards, it'll be the same height as the table saw, and the workbench will catch everything. Also, I can move the workbench out into the middle of the garage and work from there. I'm going to take some measurements, and I'm going to get started on building the frame for under this. I'm putting a sheet of plywood underneath to give it a little more stability, even though I'm probably going to have like 5 2x4s under it because I overkill it. I just want to make sure this thing's going to hold up. It's not going to warp. I mean, it is kind of flexible, but that's fine. I'm going to support it, and we're gonna reuse Dad's old workbench for my new workbench. I'm gonna get started. So I messed up again. I forgot to hit record. Actually, I thought I hit record. Gonna do a time lapse of me building a frame for this, and accidentally had it set on single photo. So I took a picture instead of doing a time lapse. But anyways, got the frame built. I decided to do pocket screws just to make it cleaner, even though it's gonna be covered up later. I'm gonna put some boards on this to make it look nice once it's all together and to protect this edge. I'm gonna start cutting the boards from in between here. I think I'm gonna do 5 of them, which is overkill, but it is what it is. I did the same thing for the shelves. I went overkill. I can put whatever I want on this workbench. And the funny thought is, I wish I would have built this workbench before I built anything else in this garage, because it would have helped building all these shelves. I struggled putting everything on the sawhorses and working on the floor, and if I would have had this workbench first, I could have laid everything on the workbench and worked off of it. Oh well, it is what it is. So I'm going to now cut all those boards from in between. Then I'm going to pocket screw them in place, and we'll get them put in. All right, I got the rest of the runners put in. I figured you only want to watch 2, didn't want to watch all 4, but I got all the supports in. They're all screwed and glued. This is now ready. I think I'm gonna start working on the legs, but since it is dark 30 out there, I'm quitting for the night. Hopefully I can get back to this tomorrow. Do the shelf that's going in the bottom, put the wheels on, put the plywood on the bench top, and I'm done. So until tomorrow. So it is the next day. It's actually late in the day. I had some stuff that I had to do this morning, but I am back out here to work on the workbench. Like I said last night, today I'm going to start working on the legs of this. I'm kind of a cheapskate. I initially was going to do 4x4 legs on this, and 4x4s cost too much. I am going to put together some 2x4s back to back and cut them down to length the way I want them and make my own 4x4. It won't be an exact 4x4, a little bit smaller, but I'm okay with that for what this is. I'm not no professional. I think this is how I'm gonna do it, and I'm gonna get started. So here we go. so I got all 4 legs done. It might be overkill that I put 4 screws aside in these, but they'll hold. I did intentionally cut these long. I'm gonna cut them all down to the same length so that, well, gonna try to cut them all to the same length. Then I'm going to cut a section out here, well, as wide as a 2x4, so that when I do this, I can put it up against that, but only in like that. And that's what it'll look like, and that'll be my leg. So I'm gonna go over to chop saw, and I'm gonna cut them all to length, and then I have the table saw set up already to cut that piece out only on one leg, one half of the leg, and we'll go from there. So I got the 4 legs cut. They're all cut across. When I cut that first one, you see me disappear for a second. I was test fitting it. It fit the first one. I'm assuming it's gonna fit all of them. I'm gonna walk around and check them all. And then I'm going to let the glue dry that was a little bit extra on the ends of those. And I'm gonna just temporarily screw them in place so that I can figure out where I wanna put the shelf on the bottom. I plan on putting a shelf on this just to hold some stuff. I gotta figure that out, and I figured I'll just get this all screwed together and see where I wanna put it. So I'll bring you back after I get all the legs. All right, I got all the legs mounted, screwed in. They're just temporarily screwed in because I'm gonna take them back out so I can put some glue, and I wanna put some pocket screws over here. But the legs are on. Took a little longer than I wanted because I had them all on and realized I had them on the wrong side. I'm gonna quit here for the night. I need to go cook some supper, and I'll come back to it tomorrow. Tomorrow I'm going to start on the shelf between the legs here. I had an idea. I talked to my buddy Fred, and he kind of told me keep it simple, so we're gonna keep it simple tomorrow. So tomorrow, hopefully I can get the shelf built, wrap this project up, put a shelf, put the top on, put the wheels on, and I have a rolling workbench. So till tomorrow, later. All right, so I'm back at it. It's the next day. It's Sunday. It's a gloomy, rainy day outside, but we're gonna get this project done. Like I said, today I'm going to build the shelf, put the top on, and get this workbench done. Put the wheels on too. First, I had a plan yesterday. It involved some interesting woodworking. Originally, I was going to cut in every leg, a pocket like this, and I was gonna set the shelf inside of it. And then I talked to my buddy Fred, and like I said last night, he told me keep it simple. So we're gonna do simple. I'm just gonna make a simple box frame that goes across here, done and over with. Slap a piece of plywood on it, and I have a shelf. I could do that cut, but I think it's gonna take a little more than what I'm comfortable with. So we're gonna go the route of just building a simple frame, screwing it in, having a simple shelf underneath the workbench. I'm gonna get started. So I'm gonna take some simple measurements and see where I stand. I'm gonna measure down here. I'm gonna have to pull these in to get the same measurement, which is fine. That might square everything up on the legs end. I'll check the other side. I'll check this way, see where that stands. I might have to pull them in that way, but I wanna make sure the legs are square. So the shelf is easier to install. I can make it one size, done and over with. Good that way. A little bit shy on that way, but I think I can push them out. I think that's what I'll do, is I can take ratchet straps and pull these in and get them to all the same measurement as I built this up, but I'll go with one measurement and go from there. So the shelf is built, screwed together, glued, everything I need. Straight, twisted, I don't know, it just doesn't feel right, but this is just a quick workbench, I guess. I'm going to figure a way to hold it up here so I can bring all the legs in where they need to be and screw it in place. Then I can start cutting plywood. I'm almost done. This is pretty cool. I'll get on that. I got the shelf all built. Had to do some finagling to get it up here. I had to have the wife come out and give me a hand. Didn't record it because it was getting kind of complicated and I was getting frustrated. It's now up there. I had to use ratchet straps to bring the legs in, clamps to hold my boards, to hold the shelf up there while I use the ratchet strap. These legs, I had to spread apart because they were in a little bit. That's gonna work. Like I said before, I am no woodworker. I'm not any good at this. I'm doing the best I can with what I got. I think this will work. It looks good to me. I'm gonna run a bunch of screws on the inside, and then I can take the ratchet straps off, clamps off. I might try to run a screw in and an angle down through here on all four, and then I can cut a piece of plywood, put it in there for a shelf, get this thing done. I'm gonna do that right now. Got the ratchet straps off. It didn't fall apart. It's held in there now. That's pretty sturdy. Of course, like always, everything's overkill, overbuilt. Like, did I really need that? I don't know. I want to make sure it's going to hold whatever. I've had too many shelves sag. Now I'm going to build the wheels and put them on, and I can flip it over and take a measurement for that piece of plywood. We can cut it, and then I can measure for the top, cut it, get everything screwed together. It's coming along. Let me get the box opened up for the wheels, and I'll show you how a couple of them go together, and we'll go from there. This here's the wheel kit. I got it off Amazon. Looks fairly simple to put together. Comes with instructions, template for your holes, everything you need. All the screws, bolts, attach it, put it together. This way I can move it around the garage where I want it, pick up the wheels, and it should be stationary, won't go anywhere. So I'm going to get the first one done, show you how I do the second one, and then I'll finish them all up. That was kind of a chore actually for something so simple. They give 2 different size bolts, which I don't understand. They could have just done with one, but it's on. They gave you a template to mark your holes. I used the center ones to get me started, put this bracket up, and then I bolted this on, which I had the wrong bolt through it. I had the longer one, needs a shorter one. So when I went to put the wheel on, I grabbed the wrong bolt, and it was the shorter one. So I had to switch them around. So how this works is, imagine this is your floor, and when you go like that, it sits on the floor. Raises your workbench up and gets it off the floor. When you're done, pull that and it'll drop back down, and you're sitting back on the floor. It's gonna make this modular, it's gonna make it really nice. Simple process and simple design. I never thought something like that would hold. We'll see if it actually holds when I put some weight to it and move it around. I'll get the other 3 put on. There's the second one. As you've seen, it was fairly simple. It's a neat design. I am glad to include these wrenches because the space in there to hit that is very tight. Very cool that they include wrenches with it. 2 of them so you can do everything you need. I just grabbed my ratchet because it was faster. I'll get the other 2 installed. I can hopefully set this on the ground and roll it around, and we'll see how it works. Got all 4 wheels on, and now I'm gonna get it off the sawhorses, see if I can do this without killing myself. Pretty sturdy. See how the wheels work. Look at that. Gonna work nice. Stable enough. Gotta remember, my floor is not level. That'll work. So now I'll cut the plywood for the shelf on the bottom, cut the plywood for the top. I figured I wasn't gonna bore you with cutting the plywood and screwing it down, putting it in place, all that happy stuff. It's on there, it's screwed down. Well, I countersinked all the screws. Did I need to put a piece of plywood on top so when I put the workbench on? Probably not. I thought, you know what? What's a little more stability? Ensures that the top is flat at least, if my 2x4s are off by a little. Now I'm going to put workbench top on, go around, countersink a bunch of screws in it, and I'll be done with this project. I'll do that and come back. I got the plywood screwed down. The top is on. The only problem is I don't have screws long enough to go from here down to the 2x4, which is what I want. So for now, I just ran 4 drywall screws, 1 in every corner. It's on. The workbench is done. I did a test fit and it fits under the saw. Well, it fits up to about here. There's a gap, but it's the same height as the table. I can use it as an outfeed table like I wanted. This is gonna work. I'm liking this. I'm glad I got to reuse Dad's workbench top. I really am. It turned out decent. I'm no woodworker. I'm far from woodworking. I'd like to learn a little bit and make a few things. This is gonna help me build some stuff finally. I'll have a nice wood bench to work on. Yeah, I could work on my big metal table. This, I can screw jigs down if I'm doing multiples of one thing. I don't have to worry about stains or nothing. I might get a roll of brown paper and did like I did with the workbench and put it on the end so I can roll it up over and I don't have to worry about staining it too much further, and I don't have to worry about this, whatever it is, bleeding into the piece I'm working on. I think this is gonna work. I'm happy. I'm very happy with how this turned out. I hope you enjoyed this build. I enjoyed making it. It was granted, it took me 3 days. I wanted to do it right, so I wasn't gonna hurry, but I got it done and it's together. I do have a little bit more to do. I want to put some trim pieces to cover these edges up to make it look a little nicer, but I'm gonna do that off camera. I'm not gonna record it. It's just gonna be taking some lumber and making it pretty and screwing it up on there so that it looks nice. And that'll protect the edge too. This will start breaking apart. I mean, I got a hump right here where a chunk got taken out. That was just from moving it, but that's gonna be a later project off camera. Like I said, hope you enjoyed this. On to the next. Thanks.